Good morning. It is Thursday, March 27th. Here's what we're working on. We are looking at the ripple effect of Donald Trump's new 25% tariff on any vehicle made outside the states.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the new tariffs will have a devastating impact on the province's auto sector.
And a new comedy from Seth Rogen is finally out. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Louis is back with us, as is Brian. And Brian, you are watching a special weather statement this morning that's going to have really long-lasting effects.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because today is going to be lovely. I mean, you know, that's the good news. The bad news is what's looming on the horizon for the weekend, beginning later in the day tomorrow. It could be an extended bout of freezing rain. And we'll be using that word, the word of the day, accretion. Accretion. Yes, look that up on your Funkin' Wagner, which is what we used to do in the 60s. That was a dictionary.
It's a dictionary.
Okay, I wasn't sure what I heard.
It's a book. It's got words in it.
It's 6 a.m. I wasn't sure what I heard this morning.
It's like things we used to do back when. If you wanted to look something up, you went to a book, and it was put out by Funkin' Wagnalls. But now you just Google it. So Google accretion. That means the buildup of ice on surfaces when you get an extended bout of some freezing rain. And Halton, Peel, Toronto, and Guelph could get 5 to 15 millimeters accretion, maybe as much as 20. So it's going to be a significant problem for the weekend. Could taper off a little bit later in the day on Saturday, but then begin again on Sunday. But it's not for Hamilton. It is not for Niagara as well. But there's a chance of just some light freezing rain. But let's think about the good news, which is today. Finally, we're going to get some sun, and we're going to get a high of 10 degrees for the day. So above seasonal temperatures and sunshine. Enjoy this one. We'll talk about it coming up. Looking at traffic. Wow, is that ever light this morning? 403 in Waterdown Road area. No problems right there. That's our exclusive camera. To some MTO traffic cameras. Nothing at Centennial Parkway. Same thing top of the Skyway. We'll flip ahead to Bronte Road. It's pretty good so far today. No collisions, no volume. We're moving nicely. Weather and traffic coming up right now. The news.
Okay, reaction is swift this morning to the latest in the trade war with the United States. Donald Trump announced yesterday a 25% tariff on all vehicles and auto parts not made in the U.S.
If parts are made in America and a car isn't, those parts are not going to be taxed or tariffed. And we'll have very strong policing as far as that's concerned. For the most part, I think it's going to lead cars to be made in one location. You know, right now, a car would be made here, sent to Canada, sent to Mexico, sent all over the place. It's ridiculous.
These tariffs go into effect on Wednesday, April 2nd. The same day, Trump is expected to announce a package of global reciprocal tariffs. Tariffs on foreign-made auto parts and vehicles will be complicated because the United States sources parts from around the world, and vehicles pass between Canada and the States an average of 6 times during production. Trump says he's looking for foreign-owned companies to move their production entirely to the United States and claims that Canadian company General Motors is moving their parts production south of the border, although GM has not confirmed that.
Canada's main party leaders are promising to protect the country and its workers amid Trump's auto tariff threats. In his capacity as Prime Minister, Liberal leader Mark Carney says the government has other options when it comes to retaliatory tariffs and that the Canada-U.S. cabinet will meet today to discuss.
You know, this will hurt us, but through this period, by being together, we will emerge stronger.
We will unite as Canadians to protect our affected sectors. But more than that, we need to become strong, self-reliant, sovereign, so that we can stand on our own 2 feet and stand up to the Americans.
This is a direct attack on our workers, and we've got to fight back like hell. We've got to fight back with retaliatory tariffs to get rid of these tariffs.
Carney also pledged his government will create a $2 billion fund to protect the jobs of workers impacted by the tariffs and also create an entirely Canadian manufacturing network to build cars in this country.
Now, Premier Doug Ford has expressed his concern about the tariffs and his worry for Ontario's auto sector.
We have to run through every tariff and minimize the pain for Canadians, maximize the pain for Americans. And I feel terrible for the Americans, but it's one person, it's President Trump, that's creating this chaos, as I call it.
Ford says he's spoken with Prime Minister Mark Carney, who says he's also in support of the federal government's preparing retaliatory tariffs to show the states that Canada won't back down.
Federal Conservative and NDP party leaders were in Hamilton yesterday, both promising tax cuts and relief for seniors should they become the next prime minister in around a month. Now, Poilievre unveiled a new campaign plan in Hamilton yesterday morning after holding a rally in Stony Creek the night before. Organizers say 4,500 people attended. In an announcement yesterday, the federal Conservatives promised to allow working seniors to earn up to $10,000 a year more tax-free while raising the age for using RRSPs by 2 years. It comes as NDP leader Jagmeet Singh unveiled a series of tax breaks in Hamilton, as well as including cutting taxes for workers and families by raising the basic personal amount to $19,500 and scrapping the GST permanently on essentials like groceries and internet bills. Liberal leader Mark Carney was in Windsor pledging to protect auto sector jobs with a $2 billion fund.
Now, today, Mark Carney has actually suspended his campaign plans. As Prime Minister, he is back in Ottawa after the U.S. announced tariffs and will be holding a special cabinet committee meeting on Canada-U.S. relations. Now, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is campaigning in BC with a news conference in Coquitlam before heading to Surrey for a rally tonight. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is in Windsor meeting with Unifor Auto leaders. He's also going to make an announcement and then head to the Stellantis plant for the 3 o'clock shift change. Green Party co-leaders Elizabeth May, she will be in BC, and Jonathan Pedneau will be in Quebec. The City of Hamilton is planning on turning a parking lot in Hamilton's East End into affordable housing, but some people who live in that area and who own businesses in that area are pushing back. The parking lot is at 70 Hope Avenue, and it's one of several municipal sites approved for review 2 years ago to be considered a spot for affordable housing. The city wants to alleviate the pressure caused by the housing crisis, but several business owners on Kenilworth Avenue say without enough parking, their businesses are going to face a lot of pressure.
There's other places to put this. You have a street right now that's in need of help that not even a year ago our Ward 4 councillor said she wanted to revitalize, and all of a sudden she's going to absolutely kill the street and kill all the small businesses by putting all this housing in our parking lot that we all use every single day.
There was a reason that those parking lots were considered surplus. We had actually done the analysis and actually saw that they were underutilized and not pulling in enough of the revenue to make them fully considered utilized.
Now, one of the concepts considered by the City of Hamilton is a 3-story unit, which can hold a maximum of 54 one-bedrooms. A meeting was held last night for community members to share feedback with the City of Hamilton before a decision is made. An autographed Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jersey that he wore in a preseason game has just sold for over $4.5 million. What? The auction held by Sotheby's, who say the jersey is the only game-worn, photo-matched Jordan rookie jersey to come up for auction. A private collector made the winning bid. ESPN says this is the 5th most expensive NBA jersey ever sold at auction.
$4.5 million. He wore it in a preseason game. What people spend their money on. All right.
At least it's not a Cheeto.
Yeah, let's start with some baseball, because after a very long winter, thanks, Brian, opening day is finally here as Major League Baseball kicks off their season, including the Blue Jays, who are in action this afternoon when they host the Baltimore Orioles at the Rogers Center.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
A lot of us, like Michael Scott, they're ready to get hurt again. Blue Jays coming off a disappointing 74-88 campaign last season. Really saw them never in the race and become major sellers at the deadline, something they'll very much want to avoid this year, especially with huge pending free agents Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero Jr. Now, they are coming off a successful spring training, for whatever that's worth. Toronto had the best record in the MLB's preseason. They went 18-10. Now, despite last year's down year, speaking yesterday, manager John Schneider says even with the possibility of losing his two superstars, he's not feeling any added pressure.
There's always pressure. You know, I think when you look at us the last handful of years, there's always pressure. There's always expectations. So I think rather than run from that, I think you lean into it a little bit, and everyone kind of gets where we are. You know, I think if we let it affect us and what we're trying to do, it leads to you know, not our best brand of baseball. So I don't think there's extra pressure. We understand what's at stake this year and every year, but I think to kind of put extra pressure on ourselves or for players to do it individually would be counterproductive.
The Blue Jays handing the ball to Jose Barrios for opening day for the second straight year and the third time in the last 4 seasons. The 30-year-old went 16-11 last year with a 3.60 ERA while posting 153 strikeouts. Meanwhile, the team announcing that 3-time Cy Young winner Max Scherzer expected to make his Jays debut Saturday against the Orioles. The 40-year-old 2-time World Series champion among the big free agent signings for the Jays, alongside former Orioles slugger Anthony Santander. Let's check in on the world of hockey, where the Toronto Raptors were in action last night in Boston, taking on the Fleet.
Renata fast, skates it all around the net, takes a shot, scores! How did that get through? Renata fast has just given Toronto its 3rd straight goal.
Burlington's Renata Fast scored the 3rd of 4 goals in the final frame for Toronto as the Raptors moved a step closer towards the postseason with a 4-2 win over the Fleet. Darryl Watts added a pair of goals for Toronto, who won for the first time this season when trailing after 2 periods. Raptors can become the 2nd team this year to clinch a spot in the playoffs with just a single point in their game Sunday against Minnesota.
All right, 6:12. Hey, good morning. It's Thursday, getting closer to the weekend here, and our last weekend of March. We'll be happy to kick March away, won't we? But let's talk about traffic first of all, and then we'll have a look at the forecast. Interesting forecast coming up. Here's the 403 Waterdown Road. Again, pretty light, a little bit busier than it was last time, but of course, as we head through the morning, it gets busier. To our MTO traffic cameras, Ministry of Transportation, Ontario. QEW Martindale, nothing. St. Catharines to Stony Creek, Centennial Parkway, all the way through Fairview. Everything's moving nicely. Oakville, let's flip ahead to Mississauga at Etobicoke Creek. Keep in mind tonight, the Niagara-bound lanes of the Burlington Skyway Bridge are going to be completely closed, and that is going to start at 10 o'clock tonight and go until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. You'll have to use Eastport Drive. Okay, let's get to our temperatures. It is getting colder this morning. Look at the temperature, -6 right now, and the winds, thankfully fairly light, make it feel like -8. So it's a chilly start to our day. The skies are clear. It's like kicking the blanket off and it gets cold. So for school today, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be mild. We get one nice day. Yay, finally, after a 2-degree high yesterday, 10 today, lovely sunshine. So what we have is this nice clear break across southern Ontario. We're going to see a little bit more cloud cover roll in late this afternoon and overnight tonight. And tomorrow, we'll start off with a bit of sun, but then the showers settle in. And look at that purple on the map. That is freezing rain. So some areas could get an extended bout of freezing rain. Halton, Peel, Toronto, into Kitchener, not Hamilton, not Niagara, but it could be an extended bout throughout the weekend. So today, temperatures 9 for Niagara, a little cooler there, but 10, even 11 degrees for Peel into Toronto. Lovely sunshine, enjoy that. Tonight, temperatures fall, but not quite so far. 0, -1, -2, -3 for Brantford, Kitchener, -4 for Guelph. And then tomorrow, Temperatures struggle. 6 for Niagara, 4 for Hamilton, Brantford, and we're looking at 2 degrees to 3 degrees for the rest of the horseshoe. Not a lot of sun for some areas, but some showers rolling in as the day goes on. So temperature today as you step out the door, -6, wind chill -8. It's a chilly morning. Thankfully, the winds are light and the skies are clear. Long range coming up. Annette, Louis.
Okay, coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. First, in business news, Dollarama, set in Montreal, is going to buy an Australian store. 6:17 right now, and we hook up with Emily Vukovic for a look at Chit Chat.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, we're going to check out Seth Rogen's new show, The Studio.
Okay.
The nominees for this year's Screen Awards have been announced, and later on this morning, a music legend is set to perform at Hamilton's new renovated arena.
It is a huge name.
Yeah, and they promised, I will give credit to Oakview Group, they promised a big name. They're delivering. This one's going to be exciting.
Yep.
All right, we'll talk to you in a bit.
All right.
Okay. In overseas trading this morning, the Canadian dollar has dropped 11 basis points to 69.98 cents U.S. Gold is up $21 an ounce. Crude oil is up 15 cents to $69.50 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, markets are down across the board. Frankfurt and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down in Tokyo and up for Hong Kong and Shanghai. And in North American markets, there were huge losses across the board after the auto tariff threat. As TSX dropped 178 points, the Dow dropped 132, the NASDAQ dropped 372 points.
Ahead of the Bank of Canada's next interest rate decision on April the 16th, it has suggested that it will hit pause on lowering interest rates. And it would do that if it weren't for uncertainty with U.S. tariffs. The central bank has released a summary of its discussions leading up to its quarter-point rate a couple of weeks ago, which saw the benchmark policy rate brought down to 2.75%. The summary says the bank's governing council is worried about Canada's tariff war with the U.S. and says it has shifted the balance. It notes the economy had performed above expectations at the end of last year.
Dollarama is buying up a discount retailer in Australia. The Montreal-based company will pay about $233 million Canadian for the Reject Shop. Dollarama President and CEO Neil Rossi says it's an opportunity to expand into new geographies. The Reject Shop is considered Australia's largest discount retailer, employing more than 5,000 people across the country. And it generated sales of over $775 million Canadian in 2024 and operates more than 390 locations.
Hudson's Bay Company has asked an Ontario court to approve a restructuring agreement, giving it a short timeline to save the 6 stores that it has spared so far from liquidation. A new version of the agreement will force HBC to start liquidating those stores on April 8th if it hasn't found a solution to save its business by April 4th. That's coming up next week. In terms of such a restructuring support agreement is what the court is being asked to consider.
Sticking with the Bay, multiple Canadian media outlets are reporting the embattled retailer will pay up to $3 million in retention bonuses to some of its senior leadership. Court documents show the money has been set aside to keep certain managers and executives working through the liquidation process, saying their service will be critical to winding down operations. Only 121 of Hudson's Bay's more than 9,000 employees will get a portion of the money. All right.
Taking a break right now. Brian is going to be back with traffic and a special weather forecast, a special weather watch.
Not good for this.
Good morning. Just about 6:24 on this Thursday morning, the 27th of March. Checking our MTO traffic cameras. First of all, QEW in Glendale. We'll start in St. Catharines and come around the Horseshoe. Nothing there. Starting to see some brake lights top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, but that's just normal. Same here at Bronte Road. Looks good. Sheridan all the way through Dundas Street at the 403 looks good. Keep in mind tonight, 10 o'clock, the Niagara-bound lanes, a full closure on the Burlington Skyway Bridge tonight for maintenance. You'll have to use Eastport Drive. That starts at 10 o'clock tonight and is closed completely until 6 tomorrow morning. Okay, temperatures right now. We're cold, -6 with a wind chill of -8 for Hamilton, same for Mississauga, -3 Toronto and for Grimsby. Seasonal temperatures now, 7 degrees for the daytime high. We got to 2 yesterday. But today we'll beat it, no problems. Overnight low, seasonal is -2. Sunrise this morning, 7:11, and 7:40 it goes down. So we gain another 3 minutes of daylight for the day, and we are going to have the sunshine today. Finally, we'll get a nice sunny day. It'll start off chilly for school, -4 for the first spell, and 10 degrees. That's the forecast high for after school. So 10 today, just into the minus column, -1 tonight. Tomorrow we should hit 4. That's about it. We'll start with some sun and then the showers roll in. Special weather statement in effect for the weekend. Friday night through Monday for Halton, Peel, Toronto, and Guelph. Could get extended bout of some freezing rain. That could be treacherous on the roads, and that's when you get the ice accretion on the branches, and the limbs can come down, causing power outages. We'll have to watch this and see. So only 2 on Saturday. Around the Bay Road race, 2 on Sunday. It looks like showers for Hamilton. 3 again, more Look at the temperatures. They don't even climb to seasonal all the way through the long rain forecast into April. That's your forecast. Annette, Louis.
All right, well, how's this for a long tail? Not a lengthy story, a cat's tail.
So a cat named Mr. Pugsley Adams has set a Guinness World Record for being the domestic cat with the longest tail. And the 2-year-old silver Maine Coon has a fluffy tail that's nearly 47 centimeters long. Mr. Pugsley's owner says he's always had a long tail. She remembers it being mentioned at his very first vet appointment. 6 months later, it became a topic of conversation at his next vet appointment. Pugsley beat the previous record holder by nearly 5 centimeters. So cats' tails help them to balance when they jump.
Okay.
So I wonder if he can jump higher because of that tail.
5 centimeters. That's a pretty significant jump, though, from record holders too.
From
the previous record to this one. I mean that. What an odd thing to even think of.
I know. But he made it.
Honey, get the measuring tape. We're measuring the tail's cat.
Stray cats